Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at NV Auto. I'm Vin, and I thought I'd show you around to some of our welding equipment and our welding setup. So obviously, with any welding setup and any workflow, you're gonna need a welder. The welder that I use is a Miller Synchrowave 200. Had this one for about, what is it now, like 6 years, 8 years now. I actually had this before I even knew how to weld. Shows how much confidence the guys had in me. But yeah, this one works pretty well. I've had it for that long of time and it's pretty much done everything that I needed to do. As you can see, I have this giant bottle of argon. I typically like to use 100% argon. I know some people like to use what's mixed with oxygen or whatever, but that's what I use. With my setup for my regulators, I have this T here I use to get two sides of the regulation. One obviously for the torches, and then I use this side to purge. If I'm doing stainless steel, titanium, or anything like that, I got this ready to go. It's a little bit of an easier way to get a 2 regulator setup. You could buy dual flow regulators. I just found this to be the easiest way to do it. And of course, all of this space here, as you can see, got my helmet always ready to go, got my gloves ready to go, got this little cute little TIG filler rod holder. It's actually one of the first things I made in my welding class. I got my grinder here to do my tungsten sharpening, all my filler rods, got my stainless steel, got my mild steel, got my aluminum, got my titanium. Again, it comes down to what kind of filler rod you're using, to what kind of material you're welding. There's all sorts of charts and stuff out there that I don't even know too much the right answers for, but again, it's just about experimenting and kind of using what you like. One of the things that I really like to have the setup here is having everything staying here. And if I do need to weld on a car, I kind of just put extensions on everything. So with this, I got this ground extension, so I don't need to pull the welder all the way over there if I needed to weld. If I'm doing a roll cage somewhere where I actually can't get my foot in and sit down and weld, I have this finger control to use when you're welding a roll cage and you really can't, you're on your back and you're upside down. This is really handy to have. One of my favorite parts of the setup is this wireless pedal. Miller makes this wireless pedal for their welders and it works amazing. I don't know how long the range is. I've never had a problem. I could just bring the pedal all the way to the other bays, set up my extensions, weld on the car, and it's typically no problem. As you can see here, I actually have 2 torches. Why 2 torches? I really like to use this one. This is a CK9, the flexible head. This is really nice to weld on any pipes, thin stuff where you're actually able to manipulate it, and it's really light. So it's really nice to weld it there. Being that I got this Synchrowave 200, it's gas cooled, not water cooled. So this one's only rated to 125 amps. So typically speaking, anything over 1/8 of an inch, you're gonna wanna use more amperage, and this is not rated for that, which is why I have this one. It's a TL 26 from CK as well, also another flexible one. So I have this set up quickly. Usually a lot of the times I do more than 1/8 thickness is on aluminum. So typically speaking, I have this set up to weld aluminum right away. I just swap over my leads here and I'm ready to weld thick aluminum. And this one's rated to 200 amps, which this welder only goes to 200 amps, so it's kind of a perfect fit. The other thing is, if you guys are looking to get cables and hoses, you have to get this Super Flex hose. It is one of the best things you could do for yourself and for your welding to get better. the thing that's really nice is, one, that they are flexible, and two, they're very light. So a lot of times when you're welding, I like to kind of put it on myself to alleviate any weight I have on my wrist. And this way I'm able to control and manipulate the weld, the torch, as easy as I can. Also, getting these leather covers helps so much in keeping your hoses safe and protected from any heat or any stress that it could have. Because if you have a pinch here or something like that, and you got your gas flowing out, it's not a good time and you're wasting gas. But these are really nice because you could drag them all around the shop. They don't get dirty. They're really good to have. And also getting them as long as possible is really nice. This one is, I think, 20 feet long. Again, I could set up the welder here, leave it here, and then drag my torch all the way over to the first bay here and weld no problem, have all the time and space in the world to do so. So yeah, that's that for this part. Let me show you all the different cups and all the different setups I have to weld different things. So I got this cabinet over here that holds most of my welding tools and bits and bobs and all that. First, I have my drawer full of tungsten rod. Again, for different sizes, I got anywhere from 0.4, so 40 thou, for like the super thin stuff, if I'm welding like super thin sheet metal, up into 1/8 here, for again, the thicker stuff that I usually use with this torch. I like to use zirconiated for aluminum. I find that it works really well, better than pure tungsten. Keeps the welds a little bit cleaner. They last a little bit longer. For steel, I really like to use seriated. I think that's how it's pronounced. Again, it's up to you of how you kind of want to mess around and figure out what you like to work with. Some people like certain things. And also with these, I always like to keep, every time I keep them short, I like to keep these because a lot of times if I need to weld in a tight spot, I could use a shorter back cap and, you know, kind of get around to it. Next, I'll show you this drawer full of cups. Over the years, kind of learning and trying to mess around and trying to figure out the different types of cups and the sizes and kind of the benefits of using something like a giant gas lens or something smaller or something without a gas lens here. What I find, honestly, if you're getting into TIG welding, just go get yourself some Furic cups. Not sponsored by Furic, but if you're watching, hit me up. But most of the times, I really like to use the FUPA 12. There's the glass clear version and then the ceramic version. This is one I use most of the time for just regular steel. I just get really good gas coverage, and with this being glass, able to see the puddle, and it's really nice to follow along. The ceramic cup is a lot more durable, obviously. I've dropped these a few times and they've broke. Usually my fault or somebody else's fault that's in the shop. Got this cup, the BBW. I believe this is a 16 or yeah. This is really nice when you're welding titanium where you need a lot of gas coverage. Again, the bigger these cups, the more gas you need. But again, you know, it's worth it to have really nice clean welds where you have control over everything, right? And especially if you're in a really tight spot. I mean, I've had my tungsten sticking out like an inch and a half outside of the cup, and I'm still able to weld no problem. For aluminum, I'd also suggest you using these smaller cups here. This is a 5 that he also sells. Or even if you want to use these smaller cups here. Again, for aluminum, you actually don't need a lot of gas coverage. The tighter you have your tungsten to the cup, you actually get better control over the welds. That's what I find recently, but again, you got to get super close, and you know, aluminum has its own fair share of difficulties. But yeah, like again, play around with different cups. But again, if you're looking into getting better cups for better welds, honestly, just get some fewer cups and call it a day, because you know, it works well. And they're small and compact and very easy to maneuver. And here, got some other bits and bobs of different torches and different back caps. Honestly, these are super important. As you can see the difference of how much clearance you have if you're welding. Even if you're welding on a bench, welding headers and trying to get into certain spots, sometimes you need the shortest cap to be able to get into those spots. And obviously you're gonna need a shorter tungsten as well. And yes, these things, I'm sure you guys have all seen these. TIG fingers. Sure, they're basically like spark plug covers, but this will definitely change your welding game. It's really nice because when you're able to weld, you could just slide across without worrying about heat, and you're able to keep a consistent distance away from your rod and whatever else you're welding. And so that's mostly it for all of those things. Next, I'll show you the welding table. So I'm really excited to show you guys this. We actually just got this table last week from Mill Finish. Built this table. It's a 3x5 foot table with, I believe, yeah, 5/8 holes. It's kind of a standard size for these things. I'm really excited to get to start using this a lot more. As you can kind of see the comparison, this is what I've been using for the past, I don't know, 6 years. It's warped, it sucks, but you know, I was able to do a lot of good stuff from this. But now moving on to this table, you know, this helps a lot doing fixtures or getting stuff down in a good position, and kind of just upping my welding game. But yeah, so basically with lots of stuff here, you could see that we got these, you know, these clamps. And how this works is you put this here and you can kind of clamp down whatever it is you're welding. Compared to just regular F-clamps here, which kind of are troublesome because using it on a table like this, you kind of need it near the edge. But having this set up, I'm kind of able to set up anywhere I want, right? If I'm welding this section, I could bolt it down and hold it down here and then weld over here or do whatever. Got these really cool adjustable, I guess you would call it position spots or whatever. I could bolt on anything here. If I'm welding on like a down pipe or something, I could bolt it on here and be able to weld it here and kind of manipulate the angle from here. Got these super nifty squares. Making any fixture, you could bolt this on, you could change your angle, and you could have whatever you're welding true to square. This, super important to have, or to make. You can make this yourself, which is what I did. I call it a third hand, I think that's what they're called, not sure. It's really nice when you're welding something and it kind of acts as a ground and also acts as to hold something down. So basically you could put on whatever you're welding, get this on to put some pressure on it, then you make your tacks and make your weld. Makes your life a whole lot easier. Also got these, I made these aluminum V's. Really nice to hold, you know, your pipe down. If you're doing a 90 degree here, it's just a nice spot to hold things down. Got our vise here, obviously. Just made some aluminum ends here so that they don't scratch up any of my stuff. My TIG holder here, and then this giant piece of aluminum is my heat sink block. As you can see, I got different holes on this. When you're welding flanges or anything like that, you want to be able to bolt it onto a huge hunk of aluminum like this. It acts as a heat sink, and that doesn't warp whatever it is you're welding. And yeah. Oh, I got my MIG welder here, and my favorite part of this whole setup is this cute little rolly chair. Super nice to work on when you're welding stuff, because you're welding here, you can just move over here, and you move over, and it's a good time for everybody. And so, yeah, that's basically my setup here for all my welding stuff. If you're looking to up your game, and if this helps you in any shape, way, or form, glad I could help. If not, if you have some suggestions for me, I'd love to hear it. If you guys are looking for some help in your own welding or anything like that, I'm always down to help out and learn myself. So thanks for tuning in, for watching another one of our videos, and I'll see you next time.